I thought we would just get together right quick and run over a couple of these stories because, well, stuff is developing so quickly and it's really not cool, but still, I think it's important for us to at least look at it together. And this comes from Zero Hedge, so none of this is mine. It does not belong to me. But as you can see by the title, it says that the White House says that Russian forces are 20 miles outside of the Ukrainian's capital. However, here is what concerns me is this. This is the sad part to me is to see all of this. This was taken at about 8:42 p.m. and I'm not sure if that's Eastern or if it's in my time or not, but I just wanted to take a look at some of these. It says whatever was shot down over Kiev was pretty big.
Жесть. Самолет, ёпта. Жесть.
It's pretty impressive when you consider the amount of damage that they're doing. And when I say impressive, I don't mean in a good way. I mean as far as how grotesque this is. This one also says here, this is from Nexta TV, and it's their Twitter page, and it was at 8:55 today. And yeah, let's look at this one. It's terrible. It's huge. Absolutely huge. Unfortunate. This is just, all of this is just, it's unnecessary. It's unfortunate. However, when I think about it, when you get to the point to where we were looking at the Nord Stream 2, that right there, once I saw that, I sort of felt like, I don't know, because that's going to stop a lot. And I think that in tandem with that, there were a couple of other things that I think on our end here in the US, we, as just the citizens, did not know. But this one comes from another, also next to, and it says a fire in an apartment building after an air attack on Kiev. Now, they're showing all of these. This isn't very long, it's just 5 seconds. Let's show again. There we go. So really, it's a shame. It really is a shame. This is all, I don't know. I think there's a whole lot of stuff that we do not know. I think there's a bunch of stuff, as we already know. This goes on to say that CNN is reporting that the Ukrainian capital of Kiev was targeted with missile fire early on Friday local time, according to an advisor to the country's government. It says, quote, strikes on Kiev with cruise or ballistic missiles continued. This comes from Anton Gerashenko. He is the advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Ukraine. And this is what he told reporters via a text. Another thing that I found very curious was that there was some information that was coming out when they had absolutely no internet access for a very short moment. I guess, I don't know. I thought that it was for a little bit longer, but apparently it was for a short period of time because they found that the president, Zelensky, I think that's him. Yeah. That he was able, Volodymyr, yeah, was able to get some information out from his window. And I have that as the thumbnail over on Headlines with a Voice from last evening. But that was able to be shown, and they said they had no way of getting any information in or out for that short period of time. And I just thought that was a bit curious, and it felt a little set up to me, but nonetheless, I digress. This is from Middle East Watch. It says Ukraine's capital city, Kiev, is under missile attack. Heavy explosions are heard all around the city. And this is there. This is a shame. I was at 9:17.
What are those? Are they attacking or are they defending? The man is running. Fuck! Holy shit!
Oh.
You had it. Holy God.
So I don't know exactly how this is going to end. I really, really don't. This is this guy. He's at 7:34, and you may have already seen this. I have not. I tried not to do a lot of this earlier today, and that's just now. It's later in the evening, and so I just decided let me get up and come and glance at some of this stuff to see. But this one here is from the AFP news agency, and it's President Zelensky. In an earlier appeal to the world, he said the Iron Curtain is descending over Europe. In a video, the Iron Curtain cutting off Russia says that Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky. What do we hear today? It's not just rocket explosions, fighting, and the roar of aircraft. This is the sound of a new Iron Curtain lowering and closing Russia from the civilized world.
Що ми чуємо сьогодні? Це не просто вибухи ракет, бої і гул авіації. Це звук нової залізної завіси, яка опускається і закриває Росію від цивілізованого світу. Наше національне завдання, щоб ця завіса проходила не по нашій українській території, а вдома у росіян.
So there you go. And thank you, Seaside Princess, for your comment. You said Putin's behavior has changed in the last couple of months. And but a Russian government member announced December 27th of last year that February 22nd or February 22, they would do something and the world would know. So I thank you so much for putting that quote there for us. But it is very shocking when you consider that, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shaking going on, and it's a lot of stuff that we do not know about. We never do. We only see this, and then we always see the let's come on, get on our side to go out here and go do X, Y, or Z. The analysis and prediction on the Ukraine from 6 years ago, quote, the West is leading Ukraine down the primrose path, and the end result will be Ukraine is going to get wrecked, close quote. This comes from John J. Mearsheimer, R. Wendell Harrison, Distinguished Service Professor of Political Science. Let's see what he has to say.
I actually think that what's going on here is that the West is leading Ukraine down the primrose path. And the end result is that Ukraine is going to get wrecked. And I believe that the policy that I'm advocating, which is neutralizing Ukraine and then building it up economically and getting it out of the competition between Russia on one side and NATO on the other side, is the best thing that could happen to the Ukrainians. What we're doing is encouraging the Ukrainians to play tough with the Russians. We're encouraging the Ukrainians to think that they will ultimately become part of the West, because we will ultimately defeat Putin and we will ultimately get our way. Time is on our side. And of course, the Ukrainians are playing along with this. And the Ukrainians are almost completely unwilling to compromise with the Russians and instead want to pursue a hardline policy. Well, as I said to you before, if they do that, the end result is that their country is going to be wrecked. And what we're doing is, in effect, encouraging that outcome. I think it would make much more sense for us to work to create a neutral Ukraine. It would be in our interest to bury this crisis as quickly as possible. It certainly would be in Russia's interest to do so. And most importantly, it would be in Ukraine's interest to put an end to the crisis. Thank you.
And I think that was great sense, but I don't think that's what the whole thing was about. I don't think that it was necessarily about neutralizing anything. I think that exactly what's going on right now is exactly what was supposed to go on in their estimation of time. You see, we have not been involved in anything. And I truly believe that, if you look at the Khazarians, they love both sides of war. They're sort of sitting back right now. They're pushing China in the front to make their comments and their statements and all of the things that they're doing. But I truly believe that there's a lot of stuff that they've got in their hands that the American people who have had our opinions about haven't been able to see. Now, if you go back a few centuries, like a bunch of centuries, I think it was the 9th century, you will see that Ukraine and Russia really were a little flip-flopped. And if you follow that all the way through, follow it all the way through to now, you'll see exactly how we got here. And in a couple of days, we're actually covering this on the Lockhart Perspective, where we're going to look at the biblical indications of what's going on right now, as well as some of the historic pieces of this particular region. There's a lot of people who do know a lot about it, and then there are some of us who do not know. And so I think that's really imperative that we get into that and that we talk about it. And so that'll be on the Lockhart Perspective this weekend. We'll have a lot of shows that we're doing some uploading on, but this particular topic dealing with the Ukrainian and the Russian experience from the 9th century all the way through. We're going to be looking at that. We're also going to, again, take a look at the Gog and Magog portion from the Bible. We're going to look at that. We're going to get a clear and concise understanding of what or who, what Magog is, okay? Is it Moscow? What is Magog? And we're looking at that. We're also looking at Gog. We're also going to do some really nice drawing some lines. We're going to draw some lines to see exactly how we got where we are, and should we even be concerned with any of it, which I don't think we should. Now, obviously, we have to bring the information because it's here, but I truly and honestly believe when you look at everything, the whole scheme of things, a lot of this is really just a nice big theater piece. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't mean that there's nothing real going on. There are really, truly people who are perishing and who are passing away. And it is terrible. It really is. But the show is to gain somebody's influence and to gain somebody's approval on what the next step will be. They always have to give you this, see, now we've got to go do it, right? See, we've got to go in, don't we? Sure, see? And that's the problem. It was the exact same way as an example when we went from, Operation Desert Shield and then Operation Desert Storm. It was like, okay, we're going to set you up. We're going to butter you up really good. And now see, we got to do it, right? We got to do it. So this is very sad. It's very sad because, as I said the other day, if this is not Daniel, and if this is not, looking at some of my notes here, but if this is not dealing with, Ezekiel 38:39, if this is not all of that, if this is not that, this is sad. And here's the deal. If it's that, then it's definitely biblical. But I also think that in as much as we know the Bible, others read the Bible and can create their own narratives and stories to get stuff off the ground. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I think it makes a lot of sense. So again, that'll be on the Lockhart Perspective this weekend. On Friday and Saturday, we're getting together. We are going to look at, again, Ezekiel 38. So you may want to, freshen yourself up on that. We're looking at Magog as one of the sons of Japheth and who he was and who that region is. Who are they speaking of? And because of what we see in the word, should we be afraid? We shouldn't have any fear. We really shouldn't. There should be no fear in us at all. We should note that it's possible that it is wagging the dog, Seaside Princess. It's exactly what I was about to say. It is possible that somebody could be, doing something for us to have something to look at. But I do know that there have been people that have been saying things like, hey, even though they're creating this, make sure you have enough food, make sure that you have enough stuff in your home to protect yourself. And then, I've noticed just recently, even more so just recently, how much higher all of the utilities are. They're even higher than they were a couple of months ago. So none of these things are by accident. It's all by design. And so we just have to keep our heads up and to continue to trust. And yeah, that's just it, period. That it's either that or just give up. And who wants to do that? The latter is no fun. The latter doesn't give us any success. So I submit we need to trust in the Father. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for kicking it with me for the last 14 minutes. Just wanted to bring a few of those videos to you. Thank you for Seaside Princess hanging out with me as well. And for our anonymous hanger-outer there as well. I see there's about 4 of you guys. It's good to see all of you. Please remember to hit that like button And if you can help me, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, because we do have some pretty interesting stuff that goes on here every now and again. Leave a comment down below if you are watching in the replay, because it does help with the algorithm and it helps get this channel where it needs to be. All right? Okay, you guys, y'all take care. Remember what we always say, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. You guys take care of yourselves, and remember to please take care of one another. Until we see each other again, continue to be blessed.
Lockhart Perspective.